Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is September the 7th, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully you had a good Sunday, a fun day, if you will. As for me, we won't start at Sunday. We'll start Saturday night. Let's rewind the clock. Figure we'll just do it that way. I like it like that. But after the episode, we went up to Northside, I guess I should say, and got to hang out with the homies. It was a nice, chill night. Had a good time. The vibes were right. Let's see. Let's start off with the food corner. We went to Chameleon. Had my usual 3 slices of pizza. There was the veg that had like a lot of onions and like bell peppers and banana peppers. Very yummy. We had for the Bianca, it was a balsamic glaze and had some other things going on with it too. I think some onion, maybe chicken, I think was the meat. I'm not, the memory, it's not doing so great. But it was a really yummy slice of pizza. And then finally, it was the pepperoni, which was classic. I love a good classic pepperoni pizza. Had that and then half of a mozzarella stick from a friend. So that was good. That was yummy. And then from there, we moved on throughout the night. Also, I got a watermelon girlfriend. Got that back on the menu, so I was happy to drink that. It might be on the menu the whole time, and I just don't get it. Oh, there was another thing, though. My friend let me try one of their drinks, and it was like a Black Widow cider. Oh, my God. It tasted so good. It was... I don't know why it's hard for me to describe it. It's almost like a black cherry apple juice situation, if you will. And I'm not doing it proper justice, but it was very yummy. I wanted to get it, but I wound up not. But maybe next time I'm gonna order that one. But from there, went to bar number 2, which was the tavern, Northside Tavern, and then we closed at Junkers. I don't know why I don't mention the bars every time. I guess because it kind of becomes routine for me, and I don't think people really want to know. But yeah, those Chameleon, Northside Tavern, and Junkers are the 3 bars that I always hit up every week. But had a good time in each. I will say though, well, for Junkers, it wasn't dead. It was just like, okay, a couple of the regulars that we really like seeing. That was nice. But I think it was more just the cold. I was like, all right. I mean, I dressed enough. I had like a flannel on. I had my Adidas track pants on. Crocs, maybe not the best, but they were fine. My feet weren't too cold. But, I feel like we had a few beers. We hung out, and it was like, all right, we're good to pack it in. But it was nice just talking with the homies throughout the whole night, yapping it up. It was nice. It was cool. And just, it was nice to see people come through, as always. Sometimes you get a pleasant surprise, and it's like, oh, hell yeah, dude, nice to see you. So that felt good. It's always good. Let's see. After that, we close out at HQ, my friend's house. And throughout the night, we had kind of been like talking about what we were going to wind up eating at the end of the night. We've gotten into this habit of doing that. I love that because it gives me a precursor of what to prepare for mentally. And I felt like I'd been a good boy up until this point. So I was like, yeah, good. We're going to close out with a nice little whatever. And what we had in store was an egg sandwich with some of the best bread I've ever had. It was from a bakery called Blue Oven, I believe. And I think it was a sourdough bread, but with everything on it, like the everything seasoning. Oh my God. It was so dense, but also soft. And it had like a nice salty taste to it. Oh, so good. With some cheese, with the egg, with the little run in it. Oh man. Oh man. And then while I'm eating this, I'm drunkenly satisfied with this. I get a text message from old Mama Bear, and well, I shouldn't say old Mama Bear, young Mama Bear, you know what I mean. But she lets me know that my little brother, little Sam, had him and his girlfriend had a baby. So congratulations for that, clapping it up for that. I was very happy to hear that. So with that good news, we closed out watching some SmackDown from the other night. Though I did find out, my friend was telling me that they're fucking up the bundles now. Like, essentially, they're taking things back, and like now like we're almost rewinding the clock, and now you got to go on ESPN to like watch pay-per-view, and there's going to be just difference in how things are going to be bundled up now. And I'm like, that fucking sucks. Like, if you can't go to at least one streamer and then just get everything, then what is the whole point of this? Like, they just keep jerking people around and trying to get more of their money. It's silly. It's dumb. But hopefully we can still keep up with, watching some wrestling. I've enjoyed it. It's been cool, keeping up with the characters and whatnot. And regardless, I don't watch too much wrestling in terms of sitting down to watch it outside of those moments. But I do watch clips and stuff, which is kind of nice. So I try to keep up that way. But yeah, that would be really lame if, we wind up not being able to because of, some stupid ass fucking corpo money shit. You know what I mean? Boo! Tomato, tomato to that shit. So, yeah. Anyway, that was Sunday night into the early morning. I take a rest. I wake up. I go back home, and then I sleep again, which is my tradition. I slept a little bit longer. Like, it was one of those things like I got home and I didn't immediately go right to sleep. It took me about like maybe 30 minutes or an hour kind of settling back in. And then I just didn't want to get up. And then I finally did get up, I think around 12, 1 o'clock, something like that. And we go to the grocery store, get everything I'm needing for the groceries. I will say this was a thing where I needed to get a lot of like cleaning stuff, like Drano for the, the bathtub and stuff like that. Sponges, SOS pads, things of that nature. So that made my grocery bill a little bit higher than I liked, and I didn't love that. But overall, good grocery run. Dropped everything off, went to the gym. And this was the cherry on top, I think. Gym session went well. We started off, obviously, with the usual weight training, went to the Smith machine, did my fucking work. Was able to move around on the bench press 315. I was happy just to be able to float it a little bit. Like, okay, we got the motion again. We're back. We're so back. Then I was also able to squat it as well, which felt good. And the piece de resistance, well, a little bit. I attempted the 315 deadlift, and I failed at first. And of course, I wanted to get discouraged. I wanted to be a little bummed at myself, like, God damn it. Ugh. But I said, Isaiah, what did we say yesterday? If we fail, come tomorrow, we're going to hit that again. We're going to do it again. And I did it again. And so I was able to go for a second attempt, and I was able to pull it off, and I felt good about it. Even if it's just the one rep on a 315 for me, that's still major. I just want to try to keep being consistent, and eventually I will hit 2 reps again and hopefully then go beyond. So that would be cool. But, the rest of my weight training went well, into the cardio went well. So overall, we got to say 2 thumbs up for the gym session. So yeah, that's been my weekend. It's been fun. It's been energizing. I definitely feel like I needed it. Also a bit of a good news, just podcast related. Shout out to the new subscribers on YouTube. I know I really tend to focus on the negative when it comes out of that, where you get the annoying comments and things of that nature. But big shout out to the people who do come through and show love and support the effort. I really do love you all so much for that. Really, thank you. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Oh, yummy. All right. Our first story comes from CNN. Russia strikes Ukrainian government building for first time in largest air attack of war. Russia launched its largest aerial assault of the Ukraine war overnight into Sunday, deploying more than 800 drones and striking a government building in Kyiv for the first time. An infant was at least An infant was among at least 2 people killed in drone strikes on several residential buildings in the capital, which was under an air raid siren for 11 hours, Kyiv's city office said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on X that a total of 4 people have been killed across all Ukraine Sunday and 44 have been injured. Moscow's forces launched a total of 810 drones, 4 ballistic missiles, and 9 cruise missiles, the Ukrainian Air Force said. While most were shot down by air defenses, 54 drones and 9 missiles hit targets across Ukraine, the Air Force said. So, versus a bit more recap and then more details into the specific strike that took place over the weekend. But just wanted to highlight that. Obviously, condolences to the people who lost their lives, families, people impacted by this war in this moment. Sadly, there's been no updates or any changes in terms of peace talks, ceasefire, or anything like that. It really just seems to be that Russia got to kind of play for time with that, and then they just get to reload, and then they get to just kind of rinse and repeat this process whenever they want. And I mean, Trump has said, though, okay, well, we're going to go into another phase of sanctions. But, like, what good is that fucking going to do? We've talked about sanctions a lot. They've talked about sanctions to goddamn death. And, I mean, what has it done? You know, you've hurt the Russian economy. And then they still keep doing what they're doing. So, you know, there's that. Anyway, let's move on, though, to our next story. From the Associated Press. South Korea will bring home 300 workers detained in massive Hyundai plant raid in Georgia. You know, I never know how to say Hyundai. I kind of just like to switch it up. I think my default is Hyundai. I don't really be saying that why. It's kind of silent to me. Anyway, more than 300 South Korean workers detained following a massive immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home, the South Korean government announced Sunday. Kang Hoon-sik, chief of staff for President Lee Jae-myung, said that South Korea and the U.S. had finalized negotiations on the workers' release. He said South Korea plans to send a charter plane to bring the workers home as soon as remaining administrative steps are completed. Foreign Minister Cho Hyung is to leave for the U.S. on Monday for talks related to the workers' releases, South Korean media reported. U.S. immigration authorities said Friday they detained 475 people, most of them South Korean nationals, when hundreds of federal agents raided Hyundai's sprawling manufacturing site in Georgia, where the Korean automaker makes electric vehicles. Agents focused on the plant that is still under construction, at which Hyundai has partnered with LG Energy Solution to produce batteries that power EVs. Cho said that more than 300 South Koreans were among the detained. So that is an update in that story that we covered from the other day. Good that, you know, at least this is a quick, efficient process in that regard, and people aren't having to hopefully languish in detention. But, I mean, that's only 300 of the, over 400? So over, 475 people that were detained in that whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, to me, I still look at this as an unfortunate situation that didn't have to happen, especially at this scale, especially at this way. But the Trump administration is going to keep moving like this, and I know we are only going to be covering more stories like this. But speaking on the Trump administration, before we move along to some other things, there's been talk throughout the week into this weekend about Chicago in terms of National Guard presence being put there. That's the next big spot that the Trump administration is planning on hitting with this iron fist shit that they've been trying to kind of push across the nation. We'll see. I kind of want to wait to have any big coverage, big talk on it, when, National Guard boots hit the ground so they can start doing some landscaping and teaming up with other fucking law enforcement to, beat up and wrestle people for whatever the fuck, whatever. Anyway, that's really all I have on the Trump administration, though, and the South Korea Hyundai situation. Anyway, let's go ahead and move along. I'm going to take a quick water break, actually. Yapping too much. All right. Got a bit of a griff move, bit of a shiesty move to do at a wedding. From ABC News. 2 arrested in theft of $60,000 in cash and checks from California wedding reception. Police in South California say police in Southern California say they have arrested 2 men in connection with the theft of thousands of dollars in cash and checks from a wedding reception last week. In a news release, Glendale police said they used video surveillance and other resources to identify Armenian. I think it's Armenian. Yeah, Armenian or Armene. Armene. I think it's Armene. It's not Armenian. My bad. Armene Shurhini. I'm fucking that up. But as a primary suspect in the theft, which took place at a Glendale, California banquet hall on August 31st. Shurhini was arrested last Thursday at his home in Sherman Oaks alongside another man, Andronic Avestian, who police said acted as a getaway driver. Police said they carried out the searches of both men's homes and recovered a large amount of cash and dozens of checks made out to the couple whose wedding was being celebrated when the theft occurred. In addition, several firearms and drugs were seized from other residences, according to police. Witnesses told Los Angeles ABC station KABC the suspect in the theft was at the reception for about 90 minutes, watching the dance floor. Shortly before midnight, witnesses told police the man entered the banquet hall, grabbed a gift box that contained the cash and checks, and then exited the building. Surveillance footage captured the man getting into the passenger side of a black Mercedes SUV which then fled the area, according to police. The victims estimated the box contained about $60,000 in cash and checks. As soon as we found out what happened, the music shut down. Everything immediately stopped, the bride, Nadine Farhat, told KABC. I ended up sitting on the dance floor sobbing with my friends and cousins around me. Police haven't said what charges the men face and said they are continuing to investigate. So this is a pretty sad, unfortunate story that you have a whole ass wedding and you're having a great time. You've gotten all the gifts. Everyone's just having a ball now. We're dancing, da 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 da. And someone comes and who's just been chilling here, and not only have they crashed your wedding, but now they're cashing out at your wedding. Like, what the fuck? That, to me, as a person who's gone through the whole experience, had the whole time, I just can't imagine that all of these these gifts, on my bad, but these gifts that you've gotten, received, and this is supposed to be something that's like helping to set up your new life, and to just have that just poof be disappeared, I can definitely understand how that's devastating, and that would definitely have me crying on the dance floor too. So I'm glad though that these two have been apprehended. And this kind of leads me to the thought of like, well, I mean, at least there's a lot of the checks and things of that nature. I wonder how long it takes for that to all be processed and then get back to the victims. I feel like with the turnaround being pretty fucking quick, hopefully not much was spent or used, if any, and maybe they can get it all back. That'd be really cool, right? But I'm sure I will be back to the story. I don't know how much details and questions I'll have answered, but we'll definitely be back if I get more information. But anyway, we have one more story that I wanted to close out with, and it's a local story. I picked it up towards, I think, the middle of the week, and I'm glad I have the time to talk about it. But let's go ahead and take our last break, and then we'll close it out. I did realize I made a bit of a mistake, a bit of a faux pas. So I was at the gym, and I just got in. I'm getting ready to hit my push-ups on the Smith machine, right? And the way Planet Fitness is set up, you sit down, you're looking right into a big mirror that goes across the whole wall. And, I have this habit. You're locking in, you're looking at yourself, right? You're really getting deep. And so you can do this shit. And the first thing I noticed for some reason, I'm like, damn, my hair is fucked up. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, you never do a perfect job. You're cutting your own hair, whatever. And I go, no, damn, dude, your hair is fucked up. Like, I'm telling this to myself. And I'm really sizing my shit up. And I'm like, oh my God, I did so bad. And it's been like this for a whole week. And I was very embarrassed. I went out in the town with this fucking haircut, man. And so I'm looking terrible. Look like I went through a whole war. Um, just from like the scalp up. But we got through the workout. I was able to lock in, and I came home and buzzed my shit again. And I'm hoping that it just looks a little bit better. I know that usually my hair looks a little bit fucked up to some degree, and I'm surrounded by loving and caring friends who really don't spot it too often. I did get one person I was like on a date with or whatever at one point, and they kind of alluded to it that it was fucked up, but I was so self conscious. I was so embarrassed. And then I've also had a coworker mention it, and I was like, oh fuck, man, yeah, I missed the sides of my back. My kitchen's a little fucked up. My bad, my bad. But yeah, so that was a bit embarrassing. I was blushing a bit, but I think we're good. I'm back to being full bald and because I want to be good for my birthday, right? I don't want to look a complete fucking mess, even though it's arguable, especially this summer, my fits have been kind of crazy. And I don't mean that in a good way. I don't care. I generally like how I dress, even though I dress like a crazy blind tourist. But I don't want to look crazy, crazy. All right. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. I want to look like I'm at least trying to look like a normal human being with like a normal haircut, normal little bald fade situation. That's what I want. That's what I like. Anyway, sorry. That's right. I double dipped the chip. Okay. From WCPO 9 or ABC 9, WCPO Cincinnati, whatever. UAW leadership union filing unfair labor practice charge against GE Aerospace. Company denies allegation. As the United Auto Workers, or the UAW, strike against GE Aerospace in Evandale and Erlanger entered its second week on Thursday, UAW leadership announced the union is filing an unfair labor practice charge against the company. In a statement, UAW leadership said to GE Aerospace's mishandling and misrepresenting information by classifying its summary as an offer. It went on to say more information would be available soon. A company spokesperson said on Thursday that GE Aerospace refutes the union's claim UAW members don't have an offer to vote on. We're proud of the record offer we tabled for our 640 UAW represented employees and are disappointed the Detroit-based UAW leaders have decided to strike before our employees have the opportunity to vote, the spokesperson said in a statement. The announcement of the filing coincided with UAW Shawn Fain's visit to the Evandale plant, where he joined the picket line in a show of support, marking 1 week of striking. It's on the company. The company chose to do this, Fain said. The company chose to put these workers out here, and it's up to the company to get a deal done. So we're ready to bargain and get things done. Both sides admitted they remain far apart on a new contract agreement. The company didn't make an offer. Toward the end, they just came in and told us they were done talking and walked out the door, Fain said. Speaking of the Wednesday before UAWs went on strike. We're ready to bargain every day. We've been here every day. This committee is ready to get a deal done. These workers want to get a deal done. UAW leadership said on Wednesday the UAW Local 647 bargaining committee reached out to the company but has heard no response. When asked about this, a GE Aerospace spokesperson said in a statement, based on recent communications, we remain far apart and we do not feel they are engaging in good faith. So, boo to GE here. It seems like they are trying to act like they are putting out a deal here, but they literally haven't put out anything. They're just showing up, kind of mean dogging, mean mugging, and then leaving? Like, no, that doesn't sound like you're doing anything but wasting people's fucking time. So hopefully we hear a change on that. They talk about families who are involved, who are, striking. Um, and it takes a lot to do this. You're putting a lot on the line in these moments, but it is good that the people involved in this obviously know that it's like this is important. It's not just important to this person; it's important to this person's family. It's not for nothing, and not to mention it's important for the people in the company down the line. You're fighting for these rights now, you're preserving them for the future. So, and I've said this before too, whether you're in a union, whether you're not in a union, it matters to you. It affects you. This is one of the few things that actually rises the tides for you in a shitty capitalist society. Are unions fighting for their fucking rights and doing the best that they can for themselves? So I hope to see some movement there in a positive direction. Hopefully they get closer to some kind of bargain, but hopefully one gets put out by GE, at least we hear something about that. But yeah, that's really all I have. Like I said, as of the article I'm reading, I don't have any details to really deliver. So we will leave it there for today. It is Sunday, so I don't like to shill on Sundays. If you need to find me, you know where, you know how to do that. But yes, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.